A very good afternoon and welcome to Africa Trade Brief. Today we take a look at the personal care sector on the continent, its trade and its potential. Let's take a look at the overview from Technavio, which says the beauty and personal care market potential in Africa will grow by $1.26 billion, progressing at a consumer annual growth rate of almost 2% during the forecast period. Over there you can see it says the market growth will accelerate around 2%. The growth contributed by South Africa is said to be worth 53%. The growth for 2021 just 0.51%, and the incremental growth in dollars, as I've just said to you, 1.26 billion. So it's predicted that the male grooming industry will be worth $74 billion by 2028. And 2020, it was sitting at around $53.56 billion at a consumer annual growth rate of around 4.2% over the next 7 years predicted. So let's go back to Technavio's forecast for the African personal care market and take a look at what they say there. The hair care market in Africa from 2020 to 2024 is expected to see an incremental growth of over $936 million. The market growth, they say, will accelerate at around 7%. The growth for 2020, 5.66% when it comes to the hair care market alone. And again, seeing 38% of growth coming from the rest of the African continent when it comes to the hair care market in Africa from 2020 to 2024. If we go back a bit in time, let's take a look at the millions of dollars in shares from different parts of our continent and look at the market value of beauty and personal care products in Africa. That's from October 2015 by country and product category. So hair care in Kenya is worth $116 million at that time. That's the market rate. In Uganda, it's around $40 million. In Tanzania, about $38 million. You can see on the graph behind me, we can just bring it back again. And Ethiopia, around $13 million. So we can see the potential there. And one entrepreneur who started a hair care business and is expanding into the continent is Sheldon Tatchell from Legends. Sheldon, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News and on Africa Trade Brief. Let's start with the potential that you see for this market in South Africa and on our continent.
Thanks for having me on the show. The growth potential across the continent for grooming and hair care is quite huge. As you just mentioned the numbers, you can see the growth continues to go up. And I think both in monetary value and in skill sharing opportunities, because men make up the higher percentage of our customer base. And in today's environment, men are paying a closer attention to their appearance and actually spending more money on products.
Mm-hmm. How much planning and research did you do before deciding to set up shop on the different parts of the continent? We know that in South Africa you've got around 50 shops, if I'm correct, and now you've broadened out. Tell us a little bit about that journey and then the planning that went into that.
Yes, Legends Barbershop has expanded over the years. It's actually 61 stores now.
Okay, my bad.
We have 2 stores in Botswana, 1 in Lesotho, and basically 58 stores in South Africa. And basically, especially going into unknown territory like Ghana, as we've done recently, it's basically the planning, research before setting up shop in any unknown territory. So basically, firstly, there has to be a demand. Then you always conduct a feasible study. And basically, we ask ourselves the questions that will the economy allow us, especially when it comes to affordability, and is there enough population in that location basically to sustain us in the long run? Mm-hmm. So, etc. So basically, those are the type of things that we look at, especially moving into a new location.
Talk to me about the perhaps barriers to trade on the continent that you've encountered, and also the different styles, the different business styles and the different ways of setting up business in Southern Africa versus in Western Africa.
Yes, I think like especially when it comes to barriers to trade on the continent, it's greatly affected by the import and export, and also the high prices. From what I've been told is that South Africa is one of the highest import duties on the continent. Mm-hmm. And just really makes it hard for small businesses to venture into Africa.
Okay.
So I think, but coming back to both countries, South Africa and Ghana, we've been there, is that working in Ghana, you could see basically the two countries are totally different, but one thing that remains the same is that we are all Africans and we work together as one. I think that's what the same all around.
When you spoke about some of those challenges or barriers, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement aims to get rid of some of those. It aims to make sure that doing business on our continent is much easier. Some of those trade barriers are dropped and all of us become more successful because of a shared plan and that vision that you're speaking about us all being Africans. What do you think it's going to do for business owners like yourself and smaller businesses as well?
I think it will play a huge role in terms of what we do, and not only in what we do, but also increase the job market. Because as you know that in Africa there is a shortage of jobs, and I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. If you look at our current state in South Africa, like over 50% of our people are currently unemployed, and this is happening in most African countries. And with this agreement being finalized, it will really assist us and even making costs lower in terms of the imports and lower taxes. It makes it easier to do business across continents.
Sheldon Tatchell from Legends Barbershop, thanks so much for your time on Africa Trade Brief and good luck with your businesses across the continent. Sheldon joining us there to talk about Legends Barbershop, which, as he says, is over 60 stores in Southern Africa, expanding into West Africa as well. Let's take a look at how African markets and currencies are performing now.